Hi guys, happy very snowy Wisconsin Tuesday. Today's video is going to be about narcissistic parents and 5 signs that your parent might be a narcissist. Stay tuned. So narcissistic parents, they can be very difficult people to deal with. This video is actually a request from one of my subscribers, so thank you so much for requesting this video. It's on my list of videos that I wanted to make, so I'm really happy that I'm able to make it for someone that really wants to see it. If you are subscribed to my channel and you have any video ideas that you would like to see made or topics you would like for me to talk about, please make sure that you leave those in the comments. I do want to make videos that you guys want to watch and benefit from. In this video, I am going to cover 5 tips that your parent might be a narcissist. I'm also going to offer some tips at the end of this video on how we can start to handle these people, because they can be really difficult people to deal with. As I'm sure anyone that's ever had experience with anyone narcissistic in their life, they are very emotionally draining and exhausting. So I really do want to offer some tips in addition to the signs in this video for you. So the first sign that your parent might be a narcissist is that they have unrealistically high expectations for you. Narcissists often project their grandiosity onto their kids. And this is really due to the fact that narcissistic parents really do feel that their children are an extension of themselves, meaning that they don't often view their children as their own individual person. They're an extension of the narcissist. So something that your parent might do, or that you may have noticed, would be setting unrealistically high standards. And then if you are somehow able to achieve this standard, the bar is reset. Nothing ever really feels good enough. They're always wanting more and more from you. Number 2 is they don't really care what's going on in your life. They are really quick to talk about what's going on in their own life, but they very rarely, if ever, ask about yours. Narcissists are not good at validating the emotions of other people, and this is really due to that lack of empathy piece. They don't have the ability to really understand emotions that they aren't experiencing themselves, so children often don't feel like they're being validated when they're having a hard time. Some of the things a narcissist might say would be like, just be happy, or just forget it happened. Kind of an idea that we should just kind of sweep this under the rug and move on. And this can lead to lots of feelings of emotional isolation. When our feelings aren't validated, it makes it really hard to be able to work through and process through those feelings. So, due to the emotional immaturity and the lack of attuneness with other people's emotions, narcissists do not do a very good job at validating the feelings of their kids. Number 3. You're blamed for everything and your parent never takes responsibility. Narcissists are absolutely masters of making everything that goes wrong the fault of another person. And this can be done in a really manipulative way. It might seem sometimes like they're taking responsibility, but they're not really actually taking responsibility, because they make statements like, oh, I wouldn't do this if you didn't do that. They try to justify and hold you accountable for any bad behavior that they might do. Number 4. You feel like the parent. And this can even happen in younger children when they're made to feel responsible for their own parents' well-being. And it really becomes very prominent in adulthood with adult children and narcissistic parents. It can kind of be related to number 3 with their inability to really take responsibility or accountability. So you always feel like you're responsible for how they feel. So that kind of makes you feel like you're the one that needs to parent them and take responsibility for their behavior. And there's also a lot of manipulation in this one. Your parent, for example, might ask you for a favor, like they might need some money or something. And you're just expected to give it to them because they're your parent and you owe them that. And if you try to set a boundary and say no, they're going to try to make you feel guilty about it. They're going to be like, you don't love me enough, or you don't care about me. If you feel like there's a role reversal, it's definitely a sign that your parent might be narcissistic. Number 5, they expect you to give them a lot of admiration and praise. And I mean, this is excessive. This is beyond any type of appreciation that you might normally give to a typical person, and they would be okay with that. This is beyond saying thank you. Narcissistic parents, or narcissists in general, they require an excessive amount of admiration and praise when they do you a favor. And when a narcissist does you a favor, they tend to hold it over your head. They'll save it for later. They'll save it for the perfect moment to be able to bring up that they did this one thing for you this one time. Usually it comes up during some type of argument or whenever they find it's going to suit them, even if it's something they did for you years ago. Narcissists make terrible parents. They are invalidating, they're mean, they're insulting, and can be just downright demeaning a lot of the time. How can we learn to deal with these exceptionally difficult people? Well, the first thing is to acknowledge that it isn't you. Really, none of this is your fault. Narcissists have cognitive deficits due to being high in narcissistic traits. Which leads to the second point about them. They very rarely ever change. In fact, many people with narcissistic parents actually report them getting worse with age, not better. So if we're trying to put all this energy into changing our parent, trying to get them to see things our way, they don't have the ability to do that. They really don't. Narcissistic traits make it really hard to learn new behaviors. These are deeply, deeply ingrained into the narcissist. So know that it's not your fault, and know that they very rarely ever change. The best way to handle a narcissistic parent is to utilize very strict boundaries. Know that when they come and they try to manipulate you and ask you for favors, you do not have to say yes. It is completely in your right to say no. You don't owe anyone anything for giving birth to you and raising you. They chose to do that. And depending on how difficult they make your life, no contact may be necessary. And no contact is when we cut off all communication with the narcissist. We block them on our phones, we don't respond to their emails, we don't invite them over to our homes. And I know that this can be really hard to think of when it comes to our parents. It can be very, very hard to think of, I think, when it comes to any family members, but especially our parents. The idea of cutting our parents out of our life can be extremely, extremely hard to wrap our heads around. And I do strongly believe that toxic is toxic, and if your mental health is at stake, no contact may be very necessary. Because remember, as much work as you do, narcissists very rarely, if ever, actually change. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends or people that might find this information beneficial. And make sure that if you haven't yet, you subscribe to my channel. I release 2 new mental health videos every single week, and I would love it if you would join this community. Thanks and have a great day.